Bandwagon Buffs, man. Hell of a game. 2 win for 500. BWB. Bandwagon Buffs. That's right.
Buff Nation, what up? BWB, my bandwagon Buffs. What it is, what it does, and what it's gonna be. It's your man's Harry Billion. Family, do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. Make sure to give me the thumbs up and don't forget to hit that bell notification so that you can get the videos as soon as I upload it to YouTube. Family, I gotta go ahead and get into this video real quick, so that's all the business I got. You know what time it is. Let's work. What's going on, guys? So I was gonna make a different video today, but I just posted an article on the communities page, and that article got me thinking. I was like, you know what? Let me make a video. Let me talk to the community because I thought it was pretty important and it deserved a video. So I'm going to go to the community and give you that post, and I want us to have a discussion about it. But before I do that, I want you to look right here, guys. TLP Sports Club is now at 9.92K subscribers. We are so close to 10,000 subscribers. I believe that we're going to hit that number today. Hopefully you like the content, whether you've seen my content on the community page or you've seen one of my videos. I really appreciate if you would to subscribe and help my channel to grow. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and go to the communities page so that we can talk about this. Let's go. Okay, so here is the post that I made in the communities page. As you can see, at the time of recording this video, I made that post about 56 minutes ago. So I'm going to read the post and then I want to add a little bit more to it so that we can have a true discussion about it. I'm usually reading somebody else's writing, but this one, let me go ahead and read my own writing. Phil Knight, who is one half of the founders of Nike, Bill Bowerman being the other, told Coach Prime that he is saving the sport. I want you to think about that for a second. Just let that sink in. Just think about it. What does that mean? Saving the sport. College football has a huge fan base that are loyal and dedicated to the schools they support. But even with that large fan base, according to the behemoth Nike, who sponsors the biggest schools, the sport was dying. So in business and billionaire language, that means losing money. After 3 years of honing his skills at Jackson State, he moves up to the Big Boys League, what people call the Big Boys League. I hope you guys understood why I put those in quotes, right? Because Coach Prime just looks at it as another challenge. He's not looking at it whether it's big or small. He just wants to dominate. That's why I put those quotes there. So hopefully when I wrote that, you guys got the gist of that. So he moves up to the Big Boys League, and now everything he does is scaled up. Every move he makes is amplified and helps the entire base of the sport. Win or lose, millions are eager to watch him. He transcends race because everybody feels like he's their guy. Every time black people try to lay claim, especially me on this channel, I always get a white guy or a different race that interjects and says they've loved Neon Deion since they were a child. His faith and his beliefs ground him and makes him relatable to most. Because regardless of religion or race, most people hold the same core values. He is a disruptor that commands respect and does that unapologetically. So here is the question that I want to ask the community. What is he actually worth? Not just to the sport, but to Colorado. That's what I wanted to talk to you guys today about. What is Coach Prime worth? So this is the photo that I was basing that article on. If you look at it, in 2022, the average viewership of Colorado football was about 353,000. 353K, like 1,000 people. All right, that was on average. I mean, 353,000 people, that in itself is not a small number. All right, that's a pretty big fan base. So if you were to put that in perspective about the college football fan base, that's not a small number, right? We go over to 2023 now, and then we have 8.6 million viewership on average. What do you attribute that number to? What we attribute that number to is the casual fan base, because you got to be a true fan. When I say a true fan, I mean a true fan to stick with a team that has a losing streak and that just has nothing exciting about it, okay? Because if you think about it, what was really exciting about watching a team week after week losing? To get 353,000 people to watch a losing team every Saturday, on average, that's not a small number. That's a pretty big number. So yes, you can agree that college football has a pretty large fan base. Sometimes it's a little larger, sometimes it's smaller. So those large and small numbers, they average out to be 353,000. To get this big big jump, this is a behemoth jump, okay? Like Nike, this is what you consider a behemoth jump, and that's just in 1 year. When we talk about this, Coach Prime has his detractors and he has some haters, but we kind of throw that phrase around on people who may have a difference of opinion. We kind of throw that phrase at them and say they are haters. There are haters, maybe people like Jason Whitlock, those type of people are strong haters. For the most part, a lot of people just have a difference of opinion, all right, from ours, because we obviously support this guy and we big him up. They're not into bigging him up. They can appreciate the fact that he's doing what he's doing, but they're not necessarily there to big him up like we do. I understand that part. So oftentimes those people are labeled haters, but we got to be careful how we throw that word around. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, even with those detractors or people who don't necessarily big him up, if we were to have the discussion, what is Coach Prime actually worth to the sport that you love? To 353,000 people who love to watch college football, what do you think Coach Prime is really worth? To get to this number right here, it requires a lot more. It requires something different. It requires a personality, somebody who can transcend race, who has their core value that can relate to a lot of people. Because no matter how you want to spin it, whether you love it or you hate it, your sport, which is college football, the reason why you're here, now has 8.6 million people watching. And that's a big, big change. He's drawing this much attention. One thing we got to think about on how the business works is when Nike is sponsoring you, we're spending a lot of money sponsoring a lot of people. We're giving jerseys out. We're making this amount of jerseys for Oregon. They want X amount of colors. We're giving out Nike cleats to this team. We're giving out t-shirts and uniforms to that school. We're giving this and we're giving that. That stuff is not free. Phil Knight, the way that he monitors the company at this point in his life is basically maybe just a one-page briefing. We're losing money here, we're losing money there. He's like, okay, go fix it. Find a way to fix it. That's basically his meeting. And then he goes on to playing with the grandkids or taking people to school and picking grandkids up from school, doing whatever he has to do to enjoy the rest of his life. That's his meeting. And then the CEOs or those managers and CFOs and everybody else have to go back to the office and figure out how to make this engine work. So to make this engine work, you need to have people like Coach Primes out there. What they're doing, what the Coach Primes of the world or the sport is going to do is they're going to infuse energy into the base. People like the Coach Primes need to bring on what's called the casuals. Most sports from a financial standpoint cannot survive without the casuals. Most things that have to do with finances, they cannot survive without the casuals. What he brings to the table is the excitement, which then turns into casuals. The quote unquote casuals are those people who are not the everyday people of the sport, but there are people who, because of curiosity, they start paying attention to the sport. Maybe there's some excitement, there's a story there, there's some type of narrative being told that's drawing them. There is some type of storm that's brewing over here, and they're curious to find out what exactly is this whole noise about. So that draws them. When they come, they're coming with their pocketbooks, their wallets, allowances, their piggy banks, their kids, and all of those things are going to spell money. So those casual people that are coming because of that storm, they are coming with the bank. Whenever you are in the midst of the storm, it's hard to evaluate the damage of the storm. It is very hard for you to envision how big the storm is because you're only experiencing a small part of the storm. It's usually not until the end of the storm that evaluators can go out and say, how big was the damage or how big was this impact? What we're seeing in real time is only a piece of it from our vantage point. You're only seeing a small part of the story. It's not going to be until all of this is said and done that we'll really be able to evaluate the impact that the story of Coach Prime had on sports in general, college football, and with Colorado. So when we ask the question, what is Coach Prime really worth? That's yet to be determined. In real time, we can't necessarily calculate the value and the impact that he's really having, but just on the surface level, from our vantage point, the impact is global. When I say global, I mean global. It's not just in college football, it's happening everywhere. Let's look at some more numbers. When you're looking at these type of stats, Colorado is the most watched team in college football. CFB means college football. Our next game that we're playing at the making of this video is going to be on Saturday, Arizona State. We're playing the Sun Devils. After taking a loss at Oregon and taking a loss from USC, most of the talking heads, most people are kind of writing off this game as a non-factor. Well, because Arizona State is 1-4. All right, they're not that great of a team. There's not that much of an anticipation from stars being on the sideline or television shows coming up and interviewing Coach Prime. But what they don't understand is that the Prime effect is still going to draw millions of viewers to watch from around the world. Every game this season is going to be watched from around the world. Some people are going to go to these less hype games because this is their chance to see Coach Prime at a lower cost. Because when you're playing a USC, these bigger profile games, it's going to be a lot more expensive. There's going to be a lot of people that go to these games because this is their opportunity to be able to afford a ticket to see Prime. That's another effect that we don't think about. And then when you go away, you got to rent hotels, you got to rent a car. The economic impact is crazy. It's very hard to evaluate. The local businesses, the bodegas, the Walmarts, gas stations, the hotels, everything is impacted by just his presence. And then the young men are becoming stars too. So now you think about Omarion Miller. Oh man, I want to go see Omarion Miller light it up. You think about Travis Hunter. Oh, Travis Hunter going to be on the sideline? I want to go see Travis Hunter. The kids might be like, Mommy, I want to see Travis Hunter. Can we go to the game? I want to see Shador. The kids are going to be pressuring their parents to go out and see some of these stars. That's economic impact. So with all of that being said, I'm going to ask you that question one more time and then I'll be out of your way. What is Coach Prime worth to college football? What is he worth to the country? Okay, family, that is all the information that I have for this video. I hope you got a little something out of it. And if you did, please make sure to smash that subscribe button to help this channel grow. That's all I do here. I'm going to have to leave it right there. You know who I am. I'm Harry B. And that right there was the Liberian Perspective. That's TLP Sports Club.